The Walt Disney stock continues to drop, and people are beginning to wonder how low can it go under Josh D'Amaro. A very bad first week for the CEO who took over for Bob Iger. And now with a Moana trailer that's, well, not doing any better. It looks like it could be more than the parks, the box office too, giving the Walt Disney Company a serious case of the new CEO, Big Bad Blues. It's a great day. It's a wonderful day, folks. Welcome back to TPP, that park place where all the news should be fun. It's your pal Pro giving you the news ahead of the drive-bys. And today we're talking about, well, the Disney stock. It's down. It's weak. It's dropping. And it's creaking under the weight of a full decade, not going anywhere other than where it is right now. Let's talk about it. We've got Marvin and Andy Masterson ready to go. You click the like button, subscribe, and we'll have some fun together talking about what's got this Disney stock under the weather. It was not a great first day for Josh D'Amaro, the new CEO of Disney. And then the media turned on Bob Iger because they finally could. And let's just say things have not been going up since then. Over the weekend, still not positive. And now the Disney stock is dropping down. 97.95, down another 1.57% in the first day back on the job for one Mr. D'Amaro running D'Amaroland. And in after trading, it did not get any better. Now, if we go to the 5-year, you can now see that it's down 47.32%, but that is because we've actually left now out of the 5 years, the high that was on just prior to this. If we go to the max, where is Disney? Well, folks, if you look here, 97.95. When did the Disney company first enter into 97.95 territory? To find out, we have to go all the way back. Basically, right here. We have not truly escaped January 23rd of 2015. That is where we are. Now, considering the amount of inflation that has happened since January 23rd of 2015, the amount of inflation, just that percentage should be how much the Disney company is up. However, instead, the Disney company is where it was all the way back then, 11 years ago. And, well, there's not a lot happening in the chatter. The analysts suddenly have gone silent. It's crazy. They don't have a lot to say. Where's Kramer? BitGet. 101 Finance. That's where we are now. CNBC, not going to say anything anymore. What? Walt Disney stock performance overview. It just talks about, it's not going great. It's not, shares drop while market rises. What's going on? Why is this happening? And guess what, folks? That's it. If you go look up to see, is anybody covering this? Is anybody out there? No, they're disinterested now.
What is the S&P right now?
Well, let me pull it up for you. Hang on just one second. If we go to the S&P 500, folks, and take a look at that chart, it's going to be starkly different, let's say. So in the S&P 500, take a look at this. The one day we went up 1.15%. Again, up 1.15% on the same day that the Disney stock dropped 1.57%. So that means there's a delta, but take a look at this delta. If we go back to the S&P 500, we're going to go to the max, okay? I want to show you this. If we go back to 2015, okay? Everybody follow along. What was it? Was I on January of 2015, the last time with Disney? Marvin, do you remember?
Something like that.
Okay, if we go back to January of 2015, the S&P 500 was under 2,000. Let me say it again, folks. The S&P, which is a measurement of all the publicly listed traded companies in America, right? The big 500, under 2,000. It had that one little blip, 1994, okay? Where is it today? 1994, it's at 6581. All right? So it has tripled. If you just invested in the S&P 500 back in 2015, you have tripled the amount of cash that you had back in 2015. You tripled it. What if you've been holding on to Disney since then? If you've been holding on to Disney since then, folks, let's do it again. If we go to the max, go back to January of 2015. January of 2015, you're in the same place. You gained $3.
So obviously,
by the way, Marv, that's worse than putting it into a 0.2% interest earning savings account and just never touching it.
So the obvious argument to make is going to always be, well, the market is down because, of everything going on in the Middle East. Well, at the same time, you have to look at the 5-year, right? You have to look at the fact that, the S&P over the last 5 years, I believe, is up about 70%, and Disney is down about 50% in the last 5 years. So Disney is not following the market, as it were. It is actively in the opposite direction of the market when you expand the view a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Marv, what do we think? I don't want to get into financial advice. I'm not going to tell people what to do, but I think that right now we need to start saying that it wasn't just us. When Josh D'Amaro had such a bad day, when the very first intro to Josh D'Amaro was such novice level answering of questions, and they hit him, and I'm going to say that Wall Street took notice of that. I'm going to say it wasn't just us. Fair to say?
I think that's fair to say. Yes, I think that people were very put off by his inability to answer even a simple question, and trying to politic his way through literally every single. He politicked his way through the "Are you going to do anything with Figment?" question,
right?
Let alone the actual questions about financials and things like that.
Exactly, Andy. I also think that one of the problems that Disney has right now is investors are worried about Middle Eastern conflict. The Abu Dhabi Disneyland thing is in question. You have worries about international travel now. People are worried, will they actually come to Disney World? But the box office, I think now that Bob Iger is gone, people are looking at this and saying, maybe handing all this to Dana Walden's not such a great idea. I know we've been told, everybody loves having Dana. Maybe Hollywood does, but I'm not sure investors are very excited about the idea of Kamala Harris's bestie running all the entertainment side of Disney.
Personally, I think these two are set up as fall guys. There's nothing on the docket that's going to buoy Disney up. I think that putting Dana Walden in there, and she just put this Karen, whoever in charge of television, who's going to keep doing all the same, wash, rinse, and repeat of the controversial material. They're going to drive things down lower. And so then they're going to go be able to say, hey, don't you miss when Bob Iger was there, and kind of say he was really buoying things up. Disney's problems it's like they had to go back a lot farther, starting a lot farther back, building their brand up. Universal jumped on this and started making Epic Universe. And what did Disney do? They took rides offline and did Tiana's Bio Adventure, taking off a much loved ride to appeal to someone who no one was offended by, at least no one that bought tickets. I think that they're going to have a hard time with the investors. I agree with Marv that they look in larger time frames. There's always problems in the Middle East. There will always be problems in the Middle East. And they usually resolve themselves. They flare up, resolve themselves, flare up, resolve themselves. I don't know that they see a long-term problem with the Dubai thing, because largely that's kind of shielded from a lot of this stuff. But I think the more pressing problem for them is that some of the shareholders are realizing that Disney has no way forward. The only things they have that are making money, and they're all dwindling outside of maybe ESPN. You have the parks that have always been the stalwart engine. They're losing ground. Yes, they're still outperforming Universal, but for how long? There's nothing that's exciting people that Disney has. Meanwhile, you saw the crowds at Epic Universe. It's huge. It's they sold out.
Yep, they sold out
one of the people,
month and a half.
One of the people that was with us tried to get a last-minute ticket for Saturday and couldn't buy one. That's crazy. You think about there's nothing on the movies. For every one hit they have 5 or 6 losers. They don't have the magic formula anymore. They don't have any creativity. And most importantly, I think that or equally of importance, they're terrified of saying the wrong things, because you have that very vocal minority that makes a lot of noise that they're terrified of. If they can't come out against something, but even if they don't include enough of something, they know they're going to get the backlash from it. And I think that the shareholders are starting to see that they've painted themselves into such a corner that there's no clear way out anytime soon. It's going to take them 10, 15 years, I think, to try and if they get somebody in there that can pull them out of this.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you are still investing in Disney, I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. I'm just here to show you the chart. And every time we do this, there are articles out there telling you it's a buy and this is what it's going to go to, and 150, 145, and blah, 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 blah. Folks, there's the chart. You look at it. And I can tell you that when you switch over to a new CEO, when else are you going to have the kind of excitement that should lift you? Right? When is the last time we saw a new CEO take over a major company like Disney and the stock actually starts dropping? This didn't happen under Bob Chapek. The stock skyrocketed as soon as Chapek took over. In a pandemic, Marv.
Yeah.
It shot up like crazy.
Yep. It's insane. You've got this should have been, it's a brand new day, it's new leadership. We're looking forward into the future. We've got all these wonderful projects going. We've got our parks that are doing so well and blah, 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 blah. It should have been sunshine and roses. It's none of that. Absolutely none of it.
Yep. And 2 final points I'll make, and you guys let me know what you think about it. Point number 1, people say we're negative about Disney. Yes, we have been. Why? Because Disney's going negative, and we would like for that to stop. So we keep saying every single day, hey, we'd like you to not be going negative 47.32%. That's basically half your value. Hey, we'd like for that to stop. We know how you can stop that. We know how you can be successful again. Okay? Sorry if that's not, fitting in with the pixie dusters, but that's the way we see it. And the second thing I'll say about this is that when we look at the Walt Disney Company and where it is, I'm not telling people that this is a company that's going to be bought tomorrow. That's not where we're going with this. This is a company that if it's going to even get into that kind of conversation, it needs to be in the low 80s, upper 70s before we even start talking about that. But this is a company that wants to be optimistic right now behind the scenes. Everybody wants to be excited. Everybody's trying to be excited. They need Josh to give them a reason to be excited. And right now, that first shareholders meeting did not do it. And we are now days past that. And there's nothing still that is giving people a reason to be excited. And I'll guarantee you that Moana trailer, that's not doing it either. We'll talk about that real soon. Marv, Andy, any final thoughts on this one?
No, it's just like when you're looking at investments, you want to see hope for the future. You want to see that things are going to change under new leadership, and it seems like Wall Street has kind of decided meet the new boss, same as the old boss, because the same thing is happening with the stocks if nothing happened.
Yeah. Any correlation you think to Moana trailers? You think it's got anything to do with that? Maybe.
No. The only stock that's fallen from that Moana trailer is the Rock stock in Hollywood.
Yes, it has. All right, folks. We'll talk about that real soon. But dark and doom at Disney, not quite yet. They can turn some things around, but Josh tomorrow needs to present a more cheerful vision of the future. Then there might be a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. But right now, it is not shining at the end of today. I know. You want more. You want more of the Pro Channel, folks, but we've got to head out the door for this video. But fret not yet, for more content is yet on the way. 3 times a day, thrice as nice, right here on the Pro Channel. Oh, what's that you say? You want more than that? Fine, we'll do 4. 4 videos. Well, yeah, that's happening. Folks, as you get ready to go, consider clicking the like button for us. It is a huge help. Also, like, share, subscribe, and click it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. We would also love it if you could drop on down and give us a comment. We love hearing from you. And although we can't respond to every single comment, we often are reading them indeed. Folks, we would encourage you to consider subscribing to our partner channels, that Park Place, that Game Place, and that Pod Place. We love them all. We think you might too. Until the next time we have the joy of joining with you, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.